What if I told you that Genesis 1 is scientifically accurate, but for about 3,000 years ago? You see, the Bible says that Genesis was written by Moses. The Bible also says that Moses was educated in all the wisdom of the Egyptians. And it absolutely shows. Let's look at the first few lines of Genesis and compare them to what the Egyptians believed. Genesis 1:1 is just an overall statement of what we're about to read. Genesis 1:2 is where it gets a lot more interesting. We often sort of ignore this verse and focus on the creation of light in verse 3, which is really dramatic, but verse 2 is deeply Egyptian. In verse 2, the earth is formless and empty. There is darkness, and the Spirit of God moves in the midst of those dark, formless, chaotic waters. So what's this all about? Well, the Egyptians had several different creation stories. Some of the stories conflicted with each other, but in the Hermopolitan cosmogony, that's a big word, before creation, 4 male-female pairs existed. These 8 gods worked together to create the sun god Atum, also known as Ra. These pairs of gods were Nun and Naunet, who represented the primordial waters of chaos, He and Hauhet, who represented infinite formlessness, Kuk and Kauket, who represented darkness, and Amun and Almanet, who represented the hidden spirit of the gods. The Bible isn't blindly copying Egyptian science. Moses put a lot of thought into this. First, those primordial waters in the Bible, they're just water. It's not a divine being. And the same goes for formlessness and darkness. And notice also that Moses replaces the hidden spirit of the gods, lowercase g, with the Spirit of God himself. In the Heliopolis cosmogony, the sun god emerges from the waters of chaos all by himself. And so Moses took out the pagan god Atum and left in the light, because that's the first thing the Egyptians thought was created. The sun god then creates a male-female pair of gods, Shu and Tefnut, who represent the vault separating the waters of chaos. Essentially, they form a bubble of air, called the firmament in some translations of the Bible, within those infinite waters of chaos. That's why on the second day, verse 7 in Genesis, refers to separating the waters under the vault from the water above it. The ancient Egyptians thought of our world as a bubble in the midst of the infinite waters of chaos, with water above, below, and all around the outside of the bubble. Next, the Egyptian god and goddess of the bubble mate and give birth to another male-female pair of gods, who are the earth, Geb, and the sky, Nut. To the Egyptians, these earth and sky aren't just things. They were divine beings, often depicted, as you see here, using their bodies to form the earth and the sky. So let's recap. For the Egyptians, first comes the sun god, who then creates the gods of the firmament, or the bubble. Then come the gods of earth and sky. 3 distinct generations of gods with a lower g. In the Bible, though, the progression is light on day 1, firmament and sky on day 2, and earth on day 3. These are similar, but they're also radically different, because to the Egyptians, those things were divine beings. But in the Bible, the earth and sky are just things that God has made, things that function according to the rules he has made for them. That's exactly how we think of them today in modern science, and that was deeply radical 3,000 years ago. I bet all the Egyptians thought Moses was crazy for suggesting that the cosmos was just a bunch of material things that followed the rules of the Creator.